Hey everybody, this is a little video we're doing to look at the different stadium enhancements in Bud Bowl and decide which of them we think suit each team well, because in the new CCL season, teams are going to have access to stadium enhancements again. So we thought, let's have a look at them and see which ones we think fit which teams. So we've got our spreadsheet set up. Everyone loves a spreadsheet. And we've got all, gosh, how many teams is it? 26 teams in Bud Bowl? No, I can't count. Anyway, all of the lots of teams in Bud Bowl 2 are up here, and we are going to go through them one at a time. So first up on the stadium enhancements is the Wizard Stadium. I'm just going to bring myself in-game into a page where I can remind me of them as we go through. But yes, Magician's Shop, which gives both teams a free wizard. Which is, in fact, yeah, free whiz. Can I expand that without ruining the spreadsheet being on screen at the same time? Let's find out. Yes, I can. All right, so we will do. Can we do color coding? Yes, we can, I think. All right, perfect. So for humans, is the Magician Stadium a good one for humans? I think. Well, do you know what? I'm going to be quicker about this because otherwise it'll take forever. I'm going to just do some right away that I think are definite no's. I think if you are a bash team, you do not want to play against free wizards. So we're just going to hit those all as no's. If you're a team that likes to do slow, grinding drives, that needs to be able to look after the ball, giving your opponent a wizard, which could just cost you your drive, definitely not the one. So anything that fits in that category, I think, is getting an instant red. I think, honestly, most of these are going to end up red, but I'm just doing the easy choices first. You don't want to be Khemri facing a wizard every game at home, because every time that goes down, every opponent is going to enjoy putting the ball on the floor against you and ruining your time. I think the same goes for Zons. And right, so the sort of classic bash teams, I think we're sort of ruling out right away. Do you want it on hybrid teams? Honestly, I think for me the answer is still no. I could see it more for a team like humans, but again, you've got to ask yourself, if you spin into Elves, are you going to be happy that they have a free wizard? No, you're not. So I think all of the hybrid teams for me are also out. Lizards is an odd case because they're a bit harder to define because they're fast as well as being bashy. But all the classic hybrid teams are going to be a no for me on this one. Stunty teams, I think definitely not Goblins. I think definitely not Ogres, because you might end up querying on an Ogre to make it safe, and so I think that's a no. Now, for me, no more spreadsheets. You love a spreadsheet, Necronome. That's why you're here. For me, I don't think any team gets this as green, is my opinion, because as I've talked about, at a high TV, I can see the argument for them with Elves, right? If you're a 2000 TV Elf team, you might think, well, I'm not going to get a wizard. I know how good I am at seeing the ball with a wizard, and I think that's totally valid. But factor in you're giving your opponent a wizard every time still. So your favorite catcher, your favorite war dancer, your favorite blitzer, if nothing else, they can use it just to spike bolt them and foul them at any time in the game. If you're at all careless with it and get 4 players bunched up, they can use it to try and just do a big murder on your team. I think if your Elves are that high TV, you don't need the wizards. So for me, they're going orange on all the Elf teams rather than green. I think you can see that I can make the argument for it, because give a 2000 TV Wood Elf team a wizard, it's probably stealing the ball whenever it wants to. But I think it's not so good that it gets a green, because it does have downsides as well. I think it's the same for Skaven, because again, if you've got a natty, it's getting bolted every single game, and sooner or later that's going to kill it. And I think lizards fit into the same category here as elves for me. I think it's like a dark orange for me, probably, really, because I think it's worse for them than it is for the elves. But if you've got a great lizard at recovering the ball, I guess I can see the argument for having that wizard. But again, your great lizard is going to get bolted as well. So that leaves these teams at the end. Underworld, I think, is just a mistake. Well, Underworld are interesting. Because if you have a 2 heads big hand goblin, then you know putting that ball on the floor sometimes is going to be good for you. Underworld I'd not thought about with it, but I'm almost tempted to make Underworld green. I think the right Underworld team could be green here. Crystal Hunter, I'd love you to join in with me on discussing these, because I think you'll have a really interesting perspective on some of them. Underworld might be my tentative green here. I hadn't thought about it until just now, but I'm thinking, no, do you know why they're not? They're going to be orange still. And the reason they're going to be orange still is because Underworld should never be overdogs. They're always going to want to be underdogs in TV. So you're just giving an overdog a wizard against you, which you might get yourself anyway. And I think that's the same reason why I think actually when I think about this some more, halflings, do you really want to give your opponent a wizard? The only reason I would make this orange is because like the wizard for your opponent's going to be rubbish, whereas doing a good wizard play on defense with halflings can turn things around. But maybe those should both be red. I'm not sure. Someone before said they liked, I think it was Chris, said they liked wizard for vampires, which honestly I think I disagree with, because playing against a wizard with vampires is really, really hard. If you give vampires a wizard, then 100% you're going to be able to turn the ball over very, very easily. But you're already very good on defense. And offense is really, really hard with vampires. So for me, I think this is a red. My experience of vampires is if I was playing against a wizard, I always felt very bad about that situation, because one of the nice things with vampires on offense is you're carrying the ball on a strength 4, normally a blodge player. But clearly it would make you very good on defense. I just think your vampire team is already good enough on defense. So I'm hitting red for this one. I know some of chat disagrees with me. I'm going to do it as red. The one team I think we might go green on, and I'm going to say that I'm doing this green from the position of this is probably the team on this whole list that I've played. That's not true. There's teams I've played less than Kislev, but I have not played Kislev much at all. But I can see the theory of Kislev being really, really strong, because they are so good at the recovery. And have we done different shades of red? I didn't even mean to. Oops. Is that red, was it? There we go. So good on recovery. And I'm not sure you have the same value proposition as you do with Wood Elves. Because, yeah, I think you live and die so much by the quick strike plays with Kislev that I can see this being worth it. I can see it being worth throwing all in on. This is a pretty tentative green because I have not played much Kislev, so I might be way off on this one. But I think I like that one. Can I zoom in a little? I can, but it's going to take some of them off the screen. How do I zoom? In fact, how do I zoom in on Google Docs? It's a good question. I don't know if I can. I could on Excel. Oh no, go back. Don't lose that. View. Here we go. 110. We're losing a little bit off the end, but we can kind of do it. Maybe like 108 or something. So that's my feelings on the Magician's Shop. Some people will disagree with me. The reason that I have said I'm only giving orange on most of them is that for me, the Wizard Stadium has a pretty big downside. Maybe Kislev should be orange for the same reason, really. I just kind of wanted to make one of them green. Any of these teams that are very good at stealing the ball, love to have a wizard because it's great at stealing the ball. But if you're playing high elves or wood elves or pro elves, you've also got to consider that you're giving your opponent a wizard every game. And if I'm spinning into lots of elf teams with wizards and I'm playing a bash team that doesn't use the wizard very well for recovery, I think there's a good chance I'm using that wizard just to bolt or fireball value targets. And over the lifetime of your team, that's going to be pretty damaging. Like, there's going to be lots and lots of mighty blow hits for free on players that you value. And so, to me, I think that's a big part of it. And the other part of it as well is, of course, we're doing these as like general things. I think you can shift that equation a bit as you go to different TVs. Like if you're a 2000 TV elf team, then you're never going to get the wizard, right? You're not going to get it randomly. So having a high TV, the Wizard Stadium, makes more sense than it does at low TV. But as I said before, if you're playing 2000 TV elves, you should have ways to hit the ball, right? You should have different ways of attacking the ball. So you don't need the wizard. And you're still going to give your opponent a chance to, once a game, bolt and probably foul your favorite player for free, which is something you work really hard to avoid a lot of the time. So for me, it's orange rather than green. For some people, they might think it differently. And I totally agree with Caloric that there's a big difference between it being good for one game and being good across the whole season. I'm talking about these in the context of CCL. And bear in mind, they've talked about this. They're bringing them back for the season. They're not bringing them back for Chalice. Practical Snow thinks that High Elves is maybe a different case because of the AV8. I can see that, but I think playing High Elves, and I'm going to have a High Elf run this season probably, so I might find out in practical terms, Practical Snow. But in practical terms, it's your catchers who they're going to go after with those wizards. High Elves are probably the ones that I almost need like an in-between green and orange colour, don't I? I need like a sort of extra level to this. I mean, it's like a dark green for maybe I think about it a bit more, or like, or like a light orange. I mean, that's between green and orange. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Stadium Hansen's coming next season. Andy runs Dwarfs. Coincidence? Obviously not. And probably if I'm doing that, then Kislev should be there as well. If I'm being honest, I'm not certain that Kislev really belong in there all out green. So they're like a little bit green. Is that even the same colour? That's a dark shade, isn't it? Yeah, it's that one. There we go. All right, so we haven't given anyone green on that. I think a lot of these stadiums people are going to find do not get green for anyone. Security Gate. The Riot and Pitch Invasion kickoff events are cancelled. Okay, let's put that in the spreadsheet. Okay, so this I think is like pretty reasonable to take on any team, right? Like if you think you're good at doing 8-turn drives, then it's reasonable to take because you're going to back yourself to reduce the randomness in the game in general and believe that you can sort of gain a benefit from it. So I think this is just orange for most teams. I think the teams that it maybe goes above that for are the teams that are... Which orange was I using? That one? No? That one. Other ones that like really like the slow drives, really want to just be sure of having that stability. So I think Orcs, I think Dwarfs, because you're trying to do 2-1 grind. You're trying to do to get those things. Sorry, I'm just reading. Someone's saying rate them 1 to 5, then you can have Google Sheets color them in across the spectrum. Is that a thing? Oh man, it's like going back so far. I feel like maybe that's tracking too much. I think we should just stick with what we're doing. So I don't think the Agi teams really want this, but I mean, it's fine, right? Like, I think it's fine on Agi teams too. Like, it's not like bad. It's just you're taking away an option of randomness for yourself. This is making me want to do 1 to 5 because I think these are 4 rather than 3s. How easy is it to do what Wizzo Floyd just said? Like, how easy is it to do the color converting afterwards? I don't think I have the wherewithal to do that. We're not doing more than 5 colors, so we've got 5 colors now. We've got regular orange, we've got dark orange, we've got green, we've got between orange and green. Done. So yeah, I'm giving the Agi teams like a slightly darker orange on this one because I'm not convinced that they really benefit from it as much as other teams do, because sometimes you actually really want those 2 turns against bash teams that have a lot of stand firm. Orange. Chaos might be green because you want to do those 8-turn drives. Dark orange. This is too hard to see, isn't it? Red, orange, yellow, green. I think we need a better color coding system. I'm already failing my color coding system. Lizards. Let's do them all as I want them for now, and then we'll work it out. Orange. No, I think all the ones that were red on the wizard are getting green here. I think maybe the Ormore hybrid is orange, but everyone else green. Henry, green. Chorfs, green. Zons, green. Vampires. Vampires might be here, because sometimes you do. Wait, no, vampires might just be orange. Sometimes you do want that right with vampires. Sometimes that really helps you out. Yeah, I think it is that one. It's between orange and green. It's quite useful for you sometimes. Same for Kislev, I think. Because those are teams that if you have to defend an extra 2-turn drive, you feel better about it. Whereas if you were stuck on turn 8 and you needed a touchdown and you got an extra turn, it's worth it for you. Goblins, I think. Whew, really not sure with goblins. I think goblins are no, because it's just there's other things that are going to be better for you. I think all the stunty teams are just going to say, you know what, the things that are better for you, don't take it. Orange, red, and what did we do with the elves? Yeah, we gave it a dark. All right, this is fine. We don't have too many colours. They're not clear enough. The oranges are not clear enough apart. From the fill menu, choose conditional formatting, last option. File menu. I don't see those options. Or from the fill menu, conditional formatting. So if I do that then, how does that? I feel like I'm nearly there, but I don't know how that then actually applies that rule. So I've put 1 in that square, and so you just got to select it afterwards. Okay, all right. So let's go back through this. 5. So we're going to do a 1 to 5 scale, and then we're going to stop changing our mind about everything. 3, 2, 3, 5, 5, 3. I could have just done this backwards using the conditional formatting, couldn't I? This is very streamlined, excellent content. This is what you guys come here for, the professionalism. 2, and 5, and 3, and 3, and 5, and 3. Right, we'll do that on the bottom thing, and then we're going to fix this. We're going to fix it. 3, 1, 1, 4, 4, 4, 3. Oh, 1, no. 1, 4. Can't believe I'm doing this. This is now feeling more and more ridiculous as I go. 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. 5, 5. Oh, not 55. 5, 3, 5, 4. Okay. All right. I'm going to uncolor all of these. Okay, so we're going to do numbers, and then the end we will condition it. We'll do the thing and make them all into a nice, lovely chart. All right. Start over with that. Okay, good. I feel better. Thank you for helping me make that better. And this is the Accounting World Championships. Exactly. Yeah, we're going to make these. All right, let's pick colors now. So, all right. So, oh, why did I just get rid of that? No, let's pick colors at the end. People want to see them as they go. People want to see them as they go. Conditional formatting. Apply to range. Got to select everything then. Right, select the whole bloody thing. Don't know how many there are, but it's not that many. Email sections. Conditional formatting. Delete, delete, delete. Add another rule. Text contains 1, then they get a nice bright green. If done, add another rule. Text contains 2, then they get yellow. If text contains 3, then they get orange. If text contains done. Oh, we didn't. Oh, I'm an idiot. Text contains 2, yellow. If text contains. Okay, this is finally coming together. I finally had worked this all out before doing it in the middle of my stream. Text contains 4, then we've got. Where do we go from orange? Then we go to red, and if we text contains 5, we're going to do a poo brown. Or something worse than that. And text contains, because 4 you already really don't want to do it. So text contains 5. Let's go with poo color. How's that? How's that, guys? I think that's good. All right. It's only taken me this much time. Oh. So now if I do another one, is that already set up? Yes. You want to switch to pastel colors. Oh, it's just a lot of trying to fit everything to work for everyone. Everyone's got different ideas. Hang on. So let's see how this looks in different colors. I will at some point actually do what I'm supposed to be doing here. I think they're not strong enough, the pastel ones. I think they don't come through enough. No, I'm sticking with what I was doing. I'm keeping it bright. The brown looks kind of horrible, but yeah. All right, fine, enough. It's supposed to look horrible. We don't want brown. Brown's bad. Don't do the brown ones. Enough. Right. Third stadium. We finally got to the third stadium. Beer stand. And I mean, honestly, this is just good if you've got frenzy, right? Like, I mean, hang on. So beer stand, humans, it's a 4. Orcs, it's a 4. I'm going to make Dwarfs a 3 just because if you take the trolls there, I guess it's better. Maybe same for Skaven. Sorry, beer stand I didn't put on here. Serfs. So I should stress with this. Oh. Need to remove the conditional formatting from that one. Oh, I hate this. This is really driving me mad. Text contains 1 green. No. A1 to Y27. Why are you like this? Why are you like this game? Excel spreadsheet, Google Docs. Can you tell this is not what I spend my days doing? I don't know what I've done now. Like how do I bring this range back? What do I need to actually type to make that range correct? I was trying to do it by selecting. Oh my goodness. A1 colon Y27, okay. This is never going to end. This is just going to be me crying over a spreadsheet in an hour's time. Text contains 1 green. Right, so it's just this one we need to remove somehow. Maybe if I just manually... Nope, it's going to ignore that. I'm just going to get rid of the 1. Serves at a 1 to injury. You're just going to have to remember, because I can't keep fighting this. I will lose. All right, good. Beer stand adds +1 to injury. So this is good if your team likes surfing, right? Obviously, like, be careful with it. Only do this if you think you're better at surfing things than your opponent is going to be at counter surfing you. Because if they counter surf you all the time, then that's just not going to work, is it? So in general, I think this is good if you've got a frenzy team, because if you're playing a frenzy team and you're confident in your use of a frenzy team, do we give this a 3 as well because you could take the Minotaur? The thing is, you shouldn't be taking the Minotaur, but you might take the Minotaur at the start. I'll give it a 3. Like, any team can use this if they think they're better at surfing than anyone else is going to be. Which, you know, some people will feel like that. Which is why it's not a 5 for anyone, in my opinion. Because any team can be very surfy if you want to make it that way. But in general, how have I only got 2? I feel like I've missed someone with Frenzy here. Is it just Norse and Necro that start with Frenzy? And Dwarfs if they want to? Guess it is, isn't it? Okay. Beer stand. If Andy Davo. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, sure. 11, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. So if you're Andy, it's 1. Just all of them.
You forgot
Dark Elves. Thank you. I was thinking I was being an idiot about someone. Yeah, okay. 1. There we go. Good. Okay. Professional streamer here. Professional spreadsheet streamer. Okay. Good. Yeah, you're right. That's actually true, isn't it? We should get rid of the stunties. Could we just put like a sad face in there? He might play Underworld, I'm not sure. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Good. All right. Next stadium. Referee rest area. During the inducements phase, both teams receive a bribe at no cost. I really don't know with this one. Because the problem with this for any team is if you take this, you're giving your opponent the same thing. So like the only way that this, like instinctively I think to myself, this is good if you value your pieces less than your opponent will theirs, right? Because you're going to foul them more. But I was saying this before, like even with goblins, right? You could go, oh, I could take the referee rest area. But then all that actually means is you get bribes anyway for 50,000. They're going to now have bribes to foul goblins with, and goblins are really easy to foul off. So I don't know with this one. This is, I've got some people coming in chat. Practical Snow says undead. It's the stadium for undead. Mootley says undead, necro, roller dwarfs, Norse, and Brett's. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be true, but we're doing this, the jumping Jawa, for CCL and what we think for CCL. So I'm inclined to go with Mootley's on the undead and necro because I think you're the teams which are always going to be having the super cheap linemen. Like you're going to be having the exactly, goblins basically always want enough altar. So I think for me this is like I think this is going to be like a 3 across the board, because if you like fouling enough, then fine. Like if this is like how you like to play, sure. But I think maybe it's a 4 for the edge teams. Maybe it's a 5 for the edge teams. Like you really don't want to be giving your opponent free bribe when you've got high value pieces around that are low armor. But yeah, I think the sort of the high fouling teams, I'm going to make it a 2. I still think it's a 2 rather than a 1 because you are giving something back. And like, you know, even if you're like a bash fouling team, well, what if you've got a pommer and now you've given the elf team an excuse to foul your pommer back when they wouldn't have done it before? There's always 2 sides to it, I think. So for me, this is a mostly 3s with a few 2s. I think Norse maybe a 2s as well. Undead 2s, necro 2s, because those are the ones with the super cheap linemen who you definitely are going to be doing a lot of fouling with. Probably Nurgle as well. Maybe Khemri, because again, regen favours you as well on your value pieces. Dwarfs. I don't think vampires want it. I don't think Kislev want it because you're going to jump things onto the floor. I think it's fine to take on these stunty teams. It's just that you can do better. Honestly, I think it's just that you can do better. That's how I feel about that. Skaven rated higher than Elves. Yeah, that's fair enough. I guess I can see that. You're more likely to have bench. You're more likely to be having the cheap foulers. And maybe we can make the same case with Pro Elves though, because I like fouling Pro Elves. So I'm going to put Pro Elves as a 4 as well. I do like a dirty player Pro Elf. I really do. I'm still not sure it outweighs the value of what you're going to have fouled for you, which is why it's still a 4. It's not even a 3, it's a 4. Maybe Skaven could be a 3, but again, like, do you want to give your opponent a free fouling piece if you might have a really great gutter and you don't want to get fouled? Yeah. Dwarfs is a fair point. Maybe Dwarfs only a 3 because you're going to give your Bull Centaurs a chance to get fouled. I think that's a fair point. Ollie, Body Nolly. I think with Necro, the regen swings it back into a 2 rather than a 3, but you do have to be careful with it for sure. All right, that's the referee rest area. Astro Granite playing surface. This is just terrible. I don't want to put a 1 in there because it's going to ruin the colour coding again. So Astro Granite is just makes GFIs more risky. Like Astro Granite thematically, I look at it and I think that should be good for dwarfs. But if anything, it's probably worst of all for dwarfs, right? Like it's terrible. Like it's if you're a team that's going to be doing GFIs, it's I think this is just bad for everyone personally. But I think it's probably worse for slow teams in general. Well, because is it bad for elves though? Because elves, yeah, lower armor, it's bad. You're less likely to do the GFIs with elves, but it's going to be worse if you don't. I think it's just bad. That's my honest opinion. I'm going to make it 4 for everyone instead of 5 because you know what? Some people just want to see the world burn. So fine, if you want to see the world burn, do it. But it's not good. Okay? It's not good. I just don't agree with it being good for anyone. And the only reason you do this is because you're more interested in killing things than in winning games. I don't see any benefit to it in terms of strategy. You might like it for the aesthetics, in which case, fair enough. I won't fight you on that. I don't like the aesthetics of it that much, but it's not actually helpful to you. If it was like every time a player falls over, if it was failing dodges maybe, then I could start seeing how you could argue it for some teams over others. But it's GFIs. So either it's worse for Elf or Skaven teams because they're going to have, like, when you fail them, it's more damaging. Or it's worse for Dwarfs because doing GFIs is going to happen to you much more with Dwarfs. So it's just bad. I don't recommend it to anyone. It's the best pitch. Spelling mistakes. All over it. Comment, I took Astro Granite in a small casual league once and then never played a home game for the rest of the leagues. I didn't even get to see it. Crystal Hunter used it on Skaven. Of course Skaven did. Of course Crystal Hunter did. Bad dog. I feel attacked. I love the Astro Granite Stadium. I can't bring myself to I can't bring myself to make it not red for everyone. I can't. If you have an extremely well defensive machine, I can see it. If you're consistently good at forcing opponents into GFIs, yeah, I mean you'd have to be very, very confident in a specific thing about yourself, wouldn't you, in that? Elf grass. Now, aesthetically, I love elf grass. I think it's so pretty. I think it makes the stadiums look so nice. But I don't think I can make an argument for it. I think I have to go with the same argument I've just gone with, which is you can make a case that it helps one team or the other. It's a very low impact stadium for 100k. I might end up taking elf grass on a team this season just because I like it, because I think it looks nice. But yeah, it just doesn't really like help one team over another team because, you know, it can help you if I do that and then drag, will this work? Nice. It can help you keep players alive. Yeah, I guess you make a good case actually. There are a couple of like fringe teams that are low armor and slow, which perhaps are most affected by these, right? So I think Amazons might be like a 5 here and a 3 there. Because Amazons are low armor and slow, so they're going to be doing GFIs, and if they fail them, it's going to be a disaster. On the Astro Granite and on the Elf Grass, it could be better. So maybe. And then maybe Norse as well. Maybe Norse is the same. Which, again, like thematically to me, that feels wrong. Because I feel like Norse should be wanting to like slam people onto Astro Granite. But the way the rule is actually made just affects GFIs, I think. I think those are the teams that perhaps. And same with flings, yeah. So maybe like flings and even ogres for the noblars, I guess. I'm not sure if I can bring to make these 5 though, because you know there is, again, like against some teams you're going to be grateful for that extra chance to remove things, because so much of your game is so much of your game is based on removals. You give Elfgrass non-4 numbers for Astro Granite gets no love. Come see the biases in the system. Listen, spelling mistakes. If you want your own chart, you can do that. But here on Misspelled Trees stream, it's Misspelled Trees chart. Seriously, someone make a case to me that I'm wrong about Astro Granite. Someone persuade me that I'm actually wrong in my thinking. But I think it doesn't help the teams that you think it's going to help. That's my feeling for it. Royal Box. Double fan factor changes. This is going to be the one stadium that gets 5 across the board. I was thinking about this before, and I was like, is there any scenario in which you want double fan factor change swings? And the only situation I could think of is if you're playing in a specific league and you know your next opponent and you like are certain you're going to lose, maybe all your best players are MNG, and so you think, I'm going to take the Royal Box and I'm going to lose the game. I'm going to let my fan factor come down, because you generally want your fan factor to come down. That's the one situation I can think of for it. Other than that, I can't think of any situations where it's good. Last game of the season to recover players, you can seed and lose fan factor. Okay. Yeah, if you've already qualified for Chalice. If you've already qualified for Chalice and you've got money sitting in your bank and you need clear MNGs, you could take the Royal Box, concede the game, and take -2 on your fan factor, which would be quite nice. Kislev are the only ones I could make a case for Granite with, says Practical Snow. Since leaps often save GFIs, they objectively take fewer GFIs. It's so marginal, it's a silly choice. That is a really interesting one to bring up. I agree with you. I think it's too marginal to make it worthwhile, but I still say hats off for finding the niche case. I like it. Should we make a concession to the Astro Granite lobby? There you go, big Astro Granite. We've made a concession to you. Oh, hello. It's a big raid coming in. Welcome to the stream, Art. Hope you had a nice stream this morning. We're doing spreadsheets on stream. That's the life we're living. It's like the hottest day in forever, and I've voluntarily decided to do a spreadsheet stream. That's where we are. Right, Royal Box. Everyone's getting poo for Royal Box. Poo colour brown for Royal Box. We don't like it. Squig sandwich kiosk. Throw a rock and get the ref. Squig sandwich. How am I going to make this fit in here? I'm just not. No. Rock or get ref. I can't make that fit. I just won't. All right. So I think this is best for the elf teams, because elf teams stand to lose the most with like a star elf getting rocked, and losing like your star again, star catcher, star gutter runner, star ward answer. These are like more impactful than anything else, I think. So I think the rock is biggest for the elves, and get the ref is obviously bad for elves. So I think, although that's a good point actually. Manus is just sort of, thank you for the follow, Manus. I suppose in some ways rock is also bad for the high armor teams because if you have armor 9 players, they're not, until you face claw, they're not typically at risk that much. But then getting a rock to the face can kill your armor 9 star just on a straight injury roll. So it's a tricky one. I mean, I think definitely for elves this is a really solid choice. I think this is a 1 for elves, in my opinion. I think any elf team can take this and feel pretty good about it. Knowing that you're not giving up free bribes to your opponent's elves is always good. Yeah. I honestly think this, I agree with you as well, Chris. Losing a vampire to a rock is horrendous. You need those vampires so badly. I think that the highest value positional ones, I think, are immediately a 1. But maybe just like everyone is a 1 for the stadium. I think this stadium is just not bad for anybody. Like, which team is happy about rocks existing? And Skaven on the ones. Like, you could maybe make a case that it's better for stunty teams because losing a stunty piece is not that big a deal, whereas losing a normal player is a big deal. So like, I mean, it could still be bad for you though, right? Because it could still, if you're playing goblins and it hits your troll, if you're playing halflings and it hits your tree, it's a disaster. But I think it's at least a 2 for everyone, and maybe it's just a 1 for everyone. Like, with the stunty teams, again, you're not going to take it because it's better things, right? So maybe it's just a 3 for the stunty teams because there's better things you can take. Oh. And Underworld. No, it's still really bad to get rocked with Underworld. Like, if you lose one of your few positional players, it's really important. That's really bad. I think everyone else is just a 1. I'm really okay with every team taking this. I'm giving it a 1, unless someone gives me a really compelling case not to. I think it's just totally valid for every team. Like, the reason, I guess, to not take this, again, is like, if you think variance is your friend in a game, then maybe you don't take it. But like, in general, if you think your team can win, then you just don't want rocks, because rocks can mess things up. Oh, I didn't even think about the pitch invasion with the ball and chain before. It's a really good point, which is the pitch invasion one. So for goblins, this gets a boost, because pitch invasion taking down a fanatic is the worst thing in the world. It's so sad. I think this is at least a 2 on everyone. I think it's just a 1 or a 2 for everyone. I can't think of anyone that's bad for. Yeah, Get the Ref can help you as those teams. But with Get the Ref as well, Get the Ref is affected by fame as to who gets it, and generally you don't have the fame as the stunty teams. I'm okay with that where it is. Nuffle's Altar. Now this is the fun one. I've been looking forward to Nuffle's Altar because I think this is one of the most interesting ones out of all of them. Oh, damn it. How can I just take the conditionals off this? Hang on. I think I know how I can do that. I finally stopped being an idiot and worked out how to do this, because I just don't need them in column A at all. So we just go to more selections, conditional formatting. With all of these, they can just be B, can't they? There's no reason for them to apply to 1. Could have wiped that out at the beginning, but I didn't. I didn't work out any of this at the beginning, did I? It's all been worked out on the fly. Right, so now we can actually do these properly. So serfs add +1 to injury. GFIs. Oh my goodness, what have I just done? Let's write that properly now. All right. Okay. Is this still going to fit everything on the screen? No. See, the problem is now we've got the pro elves have been bumped off. Oh, damn it. I can't have everything on that I want. Which of these could be? We could do Welfs. Or Helfs actually saves more. There we go. That's good enough. All right. So Nuffle's Altar is a really interesting one. I think Nuffle's Altar is one of the most impactful of all of the stadium enhancements available, because there are some teams that it's so good to use it on, and the others are don't get nearly as much value out of it. And in general, the sort of simple version of the most sort of simple version you can give it of this is, does your team that you're playing have access to cheap star players anyway, right? Because if you have a star player that is valued at 60,000, then having minus 50,000 that player means you can get it for 10,000, which means that even if you're the overdog, you can have that star player. Now, the star players that are valued at 60,000 in the game are the bombers, basically. So any team that has access to either Boomer, who's the dwarf bomber, who plays for Dwarfs and Norse, and I'm not sure who plays for anyone else, or Bomber Dribblesnot, who's a Goblin bomber, any teams that have access to that immediately have like a good reason to consider the Nuffle's Altar, because adding a 10,000 player on your team almost like at any time is good, right? Like there's almost no situation you don't want to do that, because you don't have to throw the bombs. You're not necessarily buying them to throw bombs. It's just another body. I think it's a really powerful one. Veli, Altar is most unbalanced, you said. For Underworld, buff is needed. For Dwarfs, yeah, right. Like it's just very good for the teams that have it. And yes, some of them it sort of like helps them be competitive. Some of them it makes them too competitive. But yes, so let's go straight to teams that get Boomer or Bomber. Dwarfs, it's incredible. It's not just Bomber, they can get Barrack Farblast. I can't remember exactly how much he is, but he's also cheap. And so you can have 2 star players for peanuts. Just get extra bodies on your team. It's really helpful. Plus Boom will really help you defend in some games as well. Goblins, again, Goblins you can get... Goblins is probably like... It's almost like a 1+ for Goblins. Like Goblins is incredible because it's not just that you can have a bomber for 10,000. You can also have... Fungus for 30,000, and then if you're a long way down on TV, you can get Ripper for 50,000 off. It's so good for Goblins that it almost makes everything else irrelevant, because this is just the best option you've got. It's just so good for Goblins. And yeah, it'll be a bummer when you spin into Dwarfs, but that's going to be a bummer anyway. So Norse, again, they can have Boomer for 10,000, and he's huge for Norse, because again, you don't have to throw any bombs. You just have an extra like armor 9 dwarf who has block, who you get to use for all sorts of things. You can use him as line fodder, you can use him as a fowler, and in some games, if you want to, you can throw bombs as well. Underworld, I'm actually not sure which star players they get. I'm going to check this quickly. I think I can check it on this website still. Has it still got the old rules as an option? I think this is showing the new star players, unfortunately. I think the Rebel website might still have the 2016 star players on. So who do Underworld get? Because I haven't used them with this much. Okay, so Underworld also have Bomber and they have Fez Glitch. So yeah, definitely Underworld get a 1 as well. Fez Glitch is a movement 4 ball and chain piece. You could have for 40,000 with that, so that's really good. And yes, if you get Skitter or Glart, yeah, and you're going to be down TV a lot. Thanks for the raid, Dimmy. Everyone is raiding into the spreadsheet stream. What I'm learning on this cast is that I should not play Blood Bowl on stream. I should just do spreadsheets and everyone will come do the mega raids in. Thanks for the raid, Dimmy. I hope you're having a good day and a good stream today. I hope you're not melting like I am right now. Yeah, Yudlagar 220 for Rip is amazing. Goblins are like 1+. I think it's even better than a 1. You just always should be doing this if you can. And like there's just no reason to do anything else. Halflings are an interesting one. Halflings are normally going to be down TV, which makes me think this is good. But halflings don't have like the amazing super cheap stars, do they? Halfling's cheapest star player is Puggy for 140, he's fine. For 90, he's pretty good. But he's not that exciting. The reason you would do this is just because you expect to be down TV, so you're going to get more value than your opponent. I think it's a little bit more ambiguous than some of the others because, you know, I think if you were Goblins and you spun into Norse or Dwarfs, you'd be annoyed because they get their cheap stars, but it's still worth it for you as Goblins. Is it still worth it for you as Halflings in that situation to have given them 2 stars when you only get... Maybe it is, but I think maybe it's a 2 instead of a 1. It's definitely at least a 2, but it's not, I'm not sure if it's a 1. Make the case that I'm wrong if you disagree with me. Hey, Noalius. The spreadsheet ate the puppy. The puppy's... Oh, he is actually in the right spot now. There's the puppy. He's still there. You think it's a 1. Shtick thinks because you're going to get 2 stars a lot. Artemis saying 80k buggy's pretty great. I mean, 2 is still good, right? Like, I'm still saying it's good. I'm just not sure it's as good as it is for these other ones. Defo 1, Flings always want star players. Okay, I can see it. I still think it's a less good one than it is, say, for Goblins. But I guess, like, for them, what else are you taking? So, yeah, it's better than your other options. It's better than the squig sandwich for you. So, yeah, sure. It's a 1. Is there anyone else I'm missing here that has great star player access that I'm missing? Because I'm not sure this is good for anyone else, really. Obviously, like, for any team, if you're playing it in a particular weird way, like if you're doing a deliberate like min-max build and keeping your TV really low, then of course it becomes stronger for any race. But I'm not sure if it's good for anyone else, really. We haven't done all of them yet, PC. I'm just doing them one at a time in order that they come up on the game. I haven't listed them all out yet. We'll get there, I promise. And hi, by the way. Ooh, Ali Babad at 30k is interesting. Ali Badbad. I do like Ali Badbad. And you could get a hack then for 70 as well if you wanted to. I think Undead's definitely an interesting case because Undead also, like, you generally do want to keep your TV not too high as you go up to the higher TVs, right? Because you're not going to be able to compete in the bash games with like the Chaos or whatever at 2000 TV. So maybe that's a good case for that. Orcs get the bomber as well. I think if you get the bomber, you're a 1. I think if you get the bomber, it's a 1, isn't it? Or maybe a 2, I guess, for the Orcs. I'm not sure if it's as good as it is for the other ones. Bad and Bribe is super common induced instead of wizard. Yeah, that's why it's gone to a 2. I just think you don't need the Orc with Orcs, so I think it's not as strong. Khemri, we said, maybe a 2. For Annie again. Annie bad. I played against the Khemri coach the other day who did the humorous and Ithaca Benowin build against my elves, which didn't work, but it was interesting. I'd never seen it before because you've got like dump off plays. It was fun to play against something different, but yeah. Just unmuted myself. Don't do that. All right, I think everyone else is a 4. Unless there's someone else who you think I'm missing, I'm giving everyone else a 4. Because 4 rather than 5, because any team you could do some weird build that I haven't thought of where you keep your TV low and it becomes good to have stars, but I think they're all 4s. All right, that's Neville's Autumn. Next up is the Magic Dome. It's the last one, so that is the one that PC wanted. Magic Dome, no weather. Okay. What that actually means is, I'll change it. Weather always nice. Because that's annoying me. I'm just going to go that. All right. So obviously, if you are teams that are most invested in securing, for teams where stabilizing the drive is your biggest issue on offense, this is the most important. So if you're slow and your ball handling isn't amazing, it's probably a 1. So Dwarfs, it's a 1. Khemri, it's a 1+. I mean, I think anything else that we've put here is a 1 for Khemri. It's like, sure, fine, but why wouldn't you take the Weather Dome? Because you don't want to be playing against, you don't want to be playing Khemri and it to be raining. You just don't want it. Nurgle, yeah, I think they fit in that. Chaos Dwarfs as well, I think probably fit in, oh gosh. Because Chaos Dwarfs also don't want, they also don't want the snow, because snow makes the bull centaurs less obnoxious, right? So you don't want that. Lizards, yeah, because lizards don't have the natural sure hands access. Ogres, yeah, I agree with that. Orcs, I feel like orcs, it might be a 2 again, just because maybe like these ones are better for orcs, the squig sandwich or the security gate, but it's still pretty handy. I think it can be a 1 for orcs probably. What is this, Matthew? It's a spreadsheet stream, obviously. It's a spreadsheet stream, and you know that because all of the other Blood Bowls, that's probably not true, I haven't checked, there's probably other people stream Blood Bowl, but lots of people who stream Blood Bowl have immediately stopped streaming Blood Bowl to raid in here because they wanted everyone to see a spreadsheet. And this is what everyone in the Blood Bowl community really wants. I think it's like, I mean, it's not like it's horrible for anyone in the Weather Dome, I guess, but like, I think all the agility teams would probably rather it didn't exist because it's so good for the teams that we've already listed. So 4, 4, 4, 4. Oh God. And 4. Vampires are a bit tricky because vampires also have trouble stabilizing their drives. But like, vampires are happy when your opponent can't pick the ball up. I think it's still a 4, but that is tricky, right? Because sometimes with vampires, you really don't want your dice rolls to be made harder, and the weather will do that to you. Vampires could almost be a 3. Hey, Mr. Page. Is that Mr. Page is here, or are you just... Oh, Mr. Page is here. Weather game... That is a fair point, Mr. Page. I'm going to do a separate category at the end for aesthetic ones. Right. Elf, grass, if only interested in aesthetics. Elf grass for aesthetics. Weather dome for aesthetics. I can type. So these are easy. One's here across the board. Anyone who disagrees is wrong. 5's across the board. Easy. Weather dome also makes sure one turns. Yeah, so like I can see that as an advantage for the one turning team Stadel, but I think it's outweighed by the fact that it hurts bash teams more. I think so. I think again, you're just never going to take it with Elves, are you, or with Skaven for the one turn? Yeah, it might help you in some situations, but you're not going to take it unless you've made like a team that's just based around nothing except for being able to one turn, which I guess you could do. I think for the rest, it's probably just average, right? Like, I don't hate it, but I just don't see that it helps you that much. Chaos, maybe it's a... Maybe it's even a 2, because these teams still like to stabilize their drives against elf teams, right? So... Like, I don't think it's horrible for anyone. I might even be a 1, because they're slow. Kislev probably want you to have the ball on the floor. It's tricky with the Stunty teams and the Kislev, actually, because it's like, it's the same dilemma as the vampires, really, like, because making your own offense harder is bad, but making your opponent's offense bad is also good. So I think maybe these are only a 3 for that reason. All right. That is actually all the stadiums. We've done them all. Now you can all disagree with me. Not that you haven't been disagreeing with me so far. Skaven is based around nothing but cheating. Well, that's certainly true. That's every team, though. Every team is based around nothing but cheating. They just all cheat in different ways. Right. So let's go through it. See what everyone disagrees with, because not everyone was here at the beginning. Magician's Shop, I made the case that it's mostly bad.
You are wrong.
Oh. I'd forgotten I have text-to-speech. He said that quite quickly. I was really confused for a second there. I thought I left myself in a Discord voice channel and someone had come in. So, Magician Shop, Free Wizard, I mostly don't like it. I think even the teams that it's supposed to help, which is like high TV Elves, I think it's a double-edged sword, because those teams that are very good at using a wizard to steal the ball also tend to have very vulnerable players. So if you give your opponent a wizard every game, sure, it's going to win you some games, but it's also going to get your favourite player bolted every game until they die. Kislev and High Elves were the only 2 that I ended up settling on it as a 2, which was because we felt like the risk reward was good enough, because in High Elves' case, because they have more armor 8 than, say, the Wood Elves do, and they're still faster than the Dark Elves. In Kislev's case, because they live and die so much by those turnovers. Security Gate, no riot or pass interference, generally best for teams that are very confident in their 8-turn drives, or at least want to be making 8-turn drives on offense. So we've given it to bash teams as a 1. The no pitch invasion is also helpful as teams. In general, I think this is not bad for most teams. The teams that have gone red or brown on it is because they are teams that sometimes will really value having that extra turn for the for the Riot. Beer stand +1 serves on injury. Got a 1 if you've got Frenzy and not for anyone else. But if you're Andy Davo or just someone who plays a very surfy game, this is obviously a joke and Andy wouldn't actually take on all these teams. I'm just making light because Andy is very, very good at surfing. But yes, if you are someone who is committed to surfing, thinks you're very good at it, then sure. If you're confident you're going to get more surfs than your opponent's going to get counter surfs, then I guess that could be good for anyone. It really depends on your confidence, because frankly, even these teams with Frenzy, like, it sounds good, but if you're not good at your positioning, it will hurt you really badly. Ref rest area, free bribe. I only found a few teams I think this is good for, because again, it's not just you getting a free bribe, it's 2 teams getting a free bribe. And are you confident that your opponent is not going to do you some damage back with it? I think that's true for less teams than people think it is. And for instance, for like Goblins, which I think people think, oh, free bribe, it's just nowhere near as good as the Nuffle's Altar is going to be for you. You get cheap bribes anyway, so don't give your opponent a chance to stamp on players you don't want to stamp on. Astro Granite and Elf Grass are basically cosmetic, I think. They aren't really good for anyone. The best I've given them is okay. Royal Box is terrible, except for in the one very specific situation that we came up with, which is the end of a season. If you want to concede a game to clear some MNGs, you might buy it just to reduce your fan factor at the same time, but you better have a lot of bank, because obviously it's 100 to buy it. Squeak Sandwich, so no rock or get the ref, is kind of the most universally good one. I don't think any team is very happy about rocks. Some are slightly more happy than others about get the ref, which is why there's a few it's only 2 for. But I think it's generally, like, if you're just looking to do a stadium upgrade that you think is generally good, I don't think there's any team that I'll feel really horrible about taking it on. Nuffle's Altar is amazing for some teams with cheap star players. Dwarfs, Norse, Goblins, Halflings, and Underworld are the ones that we gave the best ranking to, but also Orcs, Undead, and did we mean to put Nurgle? And why would Nurgle be there? Let me check Nurgle star players. I think this might be a mistake. I think that one's just a mistake. So let's correct that one. I think that's probably a 4 for Nurgle. Oh, it's supposed to be Khemri. Khemri, because of Ali Stab Stab, we decided it would also be 2. Magic Dome, if your team struggles to stabilize drives, generally good. If you're a team that often capitalizes on opponents failing to stabilize drives, generally bad. And if you're talking about aesthetics, the Weather Dome is horrible. It makes games unpleasant to look at. Don't like it. Elf Grass is completely unbiased opinion. Always lovely to look at. So that is my complete spreadsheet guide to stadiums in Blood Bowl 2. The new CCL season is going to have stadium enhancements available. So maybe some people will find this helpful. But yeah, that's that. If you're watching this on YouTube, because I think I'll stick this on YouTube, and you've sat through the nonsense of me trying to work out how to format this correctly, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.